Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I'm Dave Weischadle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weischadle. Doug, it looks like we had a big day in Robbinsville, New Jersey, because Lord Stanley's Cup made an appearance.
It's always good to see a visit from royalty.
Yep, absolutely. The Stanley Cup came to Robbinsville, New Jersey, because Ross Colton, who's a native of Robbinsville, was part of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And we want to congratulate Ross and the Tampa Bay Lightning for... well, certainly the Stanley Cup, but actually bringing it to our area so we can actually take a look at it.
I'm still amazed that they let them go around with that trophy.
That trophy is the most traveled trophy in sports. I love the fact that the players can bring it to, I guess, their hometowns and wherever they take it. I know it was up in Robbinsville, and then it went to, I think it went down the shore for a party, and it's a great time, especially it's a great time for the players who get to bring the cup to their friends and family, and it's a whole community celebration.
Now,
I love it.
Now, does it have like an honor guard with it? Does somebody go with it, security or something?
It has to.
I just wonder how many times it's been broken.
Well, it was kind of broken during the parade.
Yeah.
So the Tampa Bay Boat Parade. I love the Tampa Bay Boat Parades, by the way. I hope we have more of them.
They have the best championship parades.
Yeah,
I know everyone up in New England loves the duck boats and all that stuff, and down in certain areas in New York City when they have them, in L.A., all that. But let me tell you something. Watching a boat championship parade has been so much fun.
Yeah, I know, but in recent, I would love to know the procedure for bringing the cup around. I mean, it must have an escort. It must. I wonder if they have to check on the places before they bring it, or if they have to clear the whole idea with the NHL bringing it to certain places. I'm very curious about that process.
I wonder if it's the actual trophy at times, depending on the locations.
I'm sure it is.
No, I'm just saying, depending upon what the location is, maybe there is a...
I wonder if you're doing conspiracy theories.
There's a stunt cup. Is there a stunt cup? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I find it very, very difficult to believe that it's just randomly brought anywhere. Yeah. Guy wakes up, I'm going to bring the cup here with me.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm sure they have to give the NHL the ability to okay the place where it shows up.
So the cup has an itinerary.
I guess
is basically what you're saying.
I guess so. Well, we got a great show coming up for you. Oh, a busy show. We got a
loaded show.
A loaded show. We got a Beatin The House segment. We got a By the Numbers segment. We have a book report segment. But after the rundown, which is coming up right now, I'm going to be talking eSports in Atlantic City with John Boyd from the John Boyd Company. Big things are happening in Atlantic City with regard to eSports, and we're going to get the lowdown from John all about it.
John's one of the best in the business. His company, the Boyd Company, focuses on the site selection business, which is a huge growth industry, especially now with the expansion of not only casinos and esports, but a whole bunch of other aspects of our economy, too. And he's one of the guys, if you want to learn about the business side of some of these industries, you go to him.
It's been a busy week in sports, so let's take a trip down the Turnpike. Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
Okay, normally we do a sports betting story that's been in the news recently. I came across this list, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. And it has nothing to do with some sort of, betting odds or some kind of deal being made. It's a list of the states with the most gambling and sports betting writers.
Okay.
It was released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and it's the May 2020 Occupational Employment and Wage Statistics Report.
So, wait, this isn't sports writers, it's sports betting writers?
People who have the title sports betting writer or even gambling writer.
Okay, all right.
Now, this list was put together by a group called Best Odds, and I just want to say this is their list. They dug through this report, which was released in spring of 2021. This was for May 2020, but for the spring, it was released this past spring.
Now,
this year.
how is this computed? Was it the total number of writers, or was it based on the population? How did they figure these numbers out?
This is where the list gets interesting because you can dispute every entry on this list, by the way. Okay. But they did it just by the number of writers listed as their occupation as sports writers, sports betting writers, or gambling writers.
Okay.
Which is why New Jersey was at the bottom of the list, tied with Alabama.
Really? That's weird.
Number 14 on the list was New Jersey.
Okay.
And they had a total employment of writers listed as gambling and sports betting writers as 150 people employed in that job title.
All right.
Which is kind of weird because you would think...
It's the number one sports betting market in the country.
Exactly.
And there's less writers. Who made the top? I guess I'll wait for it.
Well,
so I'll let you build it up.
Actually, I have to admit, the top 5 wasn't as surprising as the bottom 5 of the top 10. Let me put it that way. 6 through 10 was a little bit more interesting than numbers 1 through 5. And number 1 is Nevada. I'll give that right now because they had 1,440 jobs listed as sports betting writers. 1,440 people listed as sports betting writers or gambling writers, which makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
It does make sense.
It doesn't because, I guess gambling writers, but,
Because every newspaper has a gambling writer. Every news outlet has a gambling writer. If you're a radio host and you write a gambling article, you can list sports betting writer. Yeah.
Is someone who tweets, can that be a gambling writer?
That's a gambling writer.
Okay, all right.
See, it depends on what they put on their resume.
I mean, if you're tweeting or you're Facebooking about gambling,
what I'm saying.
You're not a gambling writer.
Well, also, you see these guys writing these articles in 3 different places, and it appears they're a writer for this place, they're a writer for this place.
John's betting blog.
Exactly.
Kind of
Yeah, anybody with a blog is a gambling writer.
All right.
So they had 1,440 writers. Minnesota was number 2 with 1,230, probably same reason, even though there's not as big a gambling market as even Nevada is. California, 670 writers. A place that just has casinos and no sports betting. They were number 3. Texas, number 4, 450.
They have no casinos.
They have nothing.
Okay.
They have lottery. That's about it.
All right.
And Louisiana rounded out the top 5 with 380.
All right.
That one I understand a little bit because that's a growing market. That's getting bigger and bigger.
They have casinos.
Yeah. The bottom half of the top 10, Alaska was number 10.
All right.
190 sports betting and gambling writers.
All right.
They have no sports betting, and they're only allowed to bet legally on fantasy sports, on bingo, and dog sledding.
Really?
If run by a charitable organization. So Alaska beat out New Jersey just by the sheer fact that they have more people listed as writers in this category.
Okay.
New York was number 9. That makes sense. It does because it's bordering Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and that's an industry in and of itself for sports betting, right? There's more people in New York than a lot of other places. You got to look at it in terms of population too. Florida was number 8. With 300 people listed as gambling and sports betting writers, followed by Nebraska and Montana. Again, this list is only by the sheer number of writers.
I guess.
It doesn't make any sense any other way in terms of, the gambling markets themselves. It has nothing to do with the ranking of any gambling markets whatsoever. It's kind of a weird listing and a way to do it.
It's bizarre. Yeah.
But the one thing I did notice, and New Jersey is the number 1 gambling market, they are also the one who pays the best, according to this list. New Jersey pays their writers an average $36,840. That's tops. Out of the top 15, the closest one was Alaska, $31,630. No one else broke 30,000, 31,000. So at least...
Well, look,
it kind of makes sense. New Jersey was number 1 in that area, too.
Well, the population, the living expense, and things like that. But, it's a weird list.
It's a different type of list.
It's a very odd list.
You know what was surprising in the top 15?
What?
Pennsylvania did not make it.
Wow, really?
Pennsylvania was not among the top 15. Mississippi made it more than, in Pennsylvania.
We know a lot of writers who live in Pennsylvania.
Well, we know a lot of writers that may write about Pennsylvania.
Okay.
They may not live in Pennsylvania.
All right,
So
okay.
it depends on where they file their taxes, too, according to this.
Okay, all right.
So you got to look at where they're filing their taxes.
So
too.
you're saying one of the 1,400 sports betting and gambling writers that live in Nevada may write about New Jersey.
Yes.
Is that what they're saying? Okay. All right.
This is based upon their
Just where
their
they
filings.
live.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Exit 2.
We're going to talk a little Brazilian eSports right now.
All right.
Brazilian eSports organization, oddly named Made in Brazil,
That's what it's
That's their name, Made
Okay,
in Brazil.
Made in Brazil. Okay.
has launched its, and I do not speak Portuguese, Spanish, Brazilian, Feitos no Brazil.
Okay.
That's called Made in Brazil.
Oh, all right. Okay. I was wondering what that
Yeah,
meant.
it translates into Made in Brazil, which is the name of the company, too, the esports organization. They just launched their scouting and player development program, and it's going to be running this month. We're here in July, and it's going to be running through August as well.
Okay.
Now, this is a player search, basically. They're looking to grow the ranks of their Counter-Strike Global Offensive team.
So where would they scout these players? I mean, these different, I guess there's a whole bunch of tournaments that they go look at and see what these the players do. Is this
They're going to
how
be
it
doing
happens,
a
or-
whole bunch of different tournaments people are going to try out.
I know it's big in colleges and universities now. I wonder if they scout from the colleges and universities now.
Well, hopefully they're expanding their reach because their minimum age for this academy is 13 years old.
Wow. Okay.
So I would say probably high school, grade school.
Well, I like I said, there must be tournaments there must be tournaments every week.
They're going to be recruiting players at least 13 years of age who have a strong aptitude for competitive gaming in general and Counter-Strike Global Offensive in particular. And they're going to be doing a whole bunch of different tournaments. They're going to whittle it down.
Oh, good. Okay,
to
so they're doing
championship style tournament.
So they're doing their own tournaments
Yeah.
and people playing there. Okay, good.
What
That's the
they're
way
going
to
to do
it.
when they get to the point where they have an idea of who's going to be close enough to be made a decision upon, they're going to put them into 4 teams, and the 4 teams are going to compete in a tournament that's going to be about a couple $100,000 in a prize pool, and they're going to be chosen a couple of weeks after that who is going to make the academy and the team. And again, Brazil is one of the esports hotspots. And it's kind of been fun to watch the different South American countries grow their esports industries, but Brazil has been just by far the most advanced. And even though we're talking about this brand new academy search, I guess is what you can call it, because they want to bring them in and train them after that.
Okay.
This is nothing new. This has been done before in terms of academies. They've had them for... Let me get the games right. They've had them for League of Legends, these player searches, and Overwatch League. This is now finally happening for Counter-Strike. And earlier this month, in July here, We Play eSports had its own We Play Academy League, which was an invitation to professional esports leagues around the world to bring their players in and then train their players in a more competitive environment. And that had a prize pool of over $100,000 that they were playing for.
This money for esports is crazy. I can see why Atlantic City is jumping into it. I mean, you're going to hear all about it with my interview with John Boyd, but you can see why people want to start getting into the esports business.
It's one of the most lucrative, I think, right now industries in terms of not only just in terms of an industry, in terms of esports, but also the offshoots of esports betting.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're not going to be allowed to bet on a 13-year-old during a tournament.
I think it depends on the country. I really think it depends on the country.
Yeah, I know some legislation in this country is really focusing on some age restrictions when it comes to betting and things like that.
Well, our country, yes, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is good.
But since I brought up the esports betting, one of the co-sponsors of this search, and we've talked about these guys in different capacities for a couple of weeks now, Betway.
They've exploded. I mean, I think I told you a couple months ago I saw Betway on one of the boards of a New York Islanders game I was watching. I wondered what was Betway, and since then I haven't stopped hearing about them.
Betway. One of the brands under the Supergroup Holdings Company.
Exit 3.
We're going to talk a Casino.org gambling study. Casino.org is a website out there, one of the best news sites out there. They've always had some breaking news, and I've been following them for years. And they just released this gambling study that covered, let's see, the state of online gambling in 2020 across the U.S., Canada, Germany, and the U.K.
Okay.
And, they did a whole bunch of different types of topics that they surveyed of all the people here. Most popular formats of gambling by country. How much people tend to bet in each country.
Okay.
Key factors bettors consider when choosing a gambling operator, and the impact of COVID-19 on gambling. Now, I chose a couple different results because some of these made sense, and some of these are actually indicative of what's going on in the countries that we're talking about with this survey here.
All right.
In the U.S., Canada, and Germany, the majority of respondents discovered their current gambling platforms through social media.
Okay.
Twitter, Instagram,
Yeah, okay.
while most UK respondents discovered their current platform through advertising.
Like living in New Jersey, you can't turn on a television without seeing a gambling advertisement. So I guess my view is kind of skewed because, when I'm watching TV, there's about 5 an hour, and I'm not joking. There's online casinos. I saw online poker. Certainly there's online sports betting. So in New Jersey, I would think it's TV advertisement, but around the country, maybe it's different.
Well, again, you got to realize UK is now reviewing all their gambling advertising policies.
Sure.
So this answer may change for the next generation of gamblers because they're not going to see as much gambling advertising on TV.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the backlash for so much advertising. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, you couldn't turn on a television without seeing a fantasy sports commercial. And, I guess the backlash was,
You're still seeing them now.
I still see them. But not at the amount I am. But I'm seeing there's just the problem with New Jersey is it's not a problem. But the thing about New Jersey is there's so many online casinos and online poker and online sports betting. It's just I'm not seeing one brand over and over again. I'm seeing all of them.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing blocks of commercials that it's almost like walking down the boardwalk. You're seeing casino after casino.
This morning
after
I
casino.
saw WinBet, I saw Stardust, I saw FanDuel, DraftKings. I see everything.
You know what's interesting? Every time I see a FanDuel or a DraftKings commercial, I have to wonder whether it's going to be for the sports book or for the fantasy site now. Because now, and obviously it works because I'm watching the commercial.
Sure.
A couple other little points from the study.
But it's surprising that in the U.S. most people, choose a provider through social media.
Well, again, you're bombarded with it on social media.
Yeah.
And it goes to the point of...
And we do it, too.
How many gambling writers are out there?
Yeah, I know. Hey, look.
Go back to the exit one over there.
I'm not throwing rocks here in a glass house. I'm admitting to it, too. If you went to our Twitter or our Facebook, you'll see the things.
And going to your point there, online news articles and personal experiences were the most mentioned channels that inform gamblers' opinions of the gambling industry. Makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Most gamblers bet with the aim of winning money.
Okay. We needed a study for that one?
Males gamble online more than females.
Okay.
And 50% of all gamblers in all 4 countries that were surveyed had between 1 and 2 online betting accounts.
I have several on my phone.
I got about 5.
That's
not even counting the
lot.
Fantasy.
I got an email from a promotions thing from a online casino that I had an account with that I forgot I had an account with. So that's how many I have.
Well, last number I'm going to hit, 75% of the respondents did not engage in eSports betting. I think that's going to change.
Well, it's so new.
Yeah.
It's just so
But you got to
new.
remember, this is 2020, not 2021. It's going to change.
That is definitely going to change.
Exit 4.
We're going to talk a couple more cryptocurrency sponsors, but we're also going to talk a lottery sponsor this time.
Oh,
Last week we just had crypto and blockchain. Now we've got crypto and lotto.
I'm still not into crypto or Bitcoin. I mean,
It's
I read the
everywhere.
news story. I read the
everywhere.
news stories. I'm not an investor or anything like that. I don't own any non-fungible tokens either. So I don't.
Personally, I don't like a market that if someone sneezes the wrong way, the numbers go down tremendously.
Yeah.
CoinDCX is now the title sponsor of the T20I Tour. It's a cricket tour, by the way.
Oh,
seen cricket a lot more. T20I Tour between India and Sri Lanka. It's the first time a cryptocurrency exchange has been designated as the title sponsor of a cricket series.
Now, where will the Coin DCX be seen on the screen? I mean, are they on the jerseys, or do they have?
They're on the
backboards,
fields or everywhere, and also they're going to rebrand it as the Coin DCX T20 Cup.
Okay.
So
it's between India and Sri Lanka,
right? It's a cricket tour.
Okay.
Series. Cricket tour series.
So I mean, okay. So are there different teams or
different
just two
teams? Different teams, one league.
Okay. All right.
There are 3 one-day international tournaments.
All right.
And the team Sri Lanka will have CoinDCX as the official overseas sponsor.
All right.
Not the local sponsor, but the overseas sponsor.
Right.
So wherever Team Sri Lanka goes under this tour, you're going to see CoinDCX as part of their branding. And also the entire tour has been renamed CoinDCX. That's a big thing I've been noticing.
Where can I watch cricket?
I honestly, there are so many different
Sometimes
places.
I catch it somewhere, but I can't remember where I can see cricket.
I know
Not that I'm actively looking for it, but I'd be very curious to see this.
I know for a while some of these the UK sports networks have shown some of these things. I know ESPN had a slew of cricket tournaments before too, but like Beatin Sports, all that, the UK focused sports networks.
Okay, I'm googling cricket.
Well, while you're looking up cricket, I'll move on to the next thing. This is Dorna Sports has named blockchain technology company Bitsi, BITCI.com, as the official sponsor of the FIM MotoGP World Championship, a 3-year agreement. It kicks off the season. It includes the title sponsorship of the Austrian Grand Prix. And also, they're going to rebrand the Grand Prix, the Bitsi Motorrad Grand Prix van Oostenrijk.
Okay,
that's a mouthful.
Yeah. But are you done with that? I don't want to step all over it, but I want to tell you where you can watch cricket.
Go ahead.
Of course, Sky Sports and BBC Sports. Is this BBC One? And there's a network called Now. So, So you can.
There's tons of places to watch
so,
it.
There's a BBC Two. There's a BBC
there's,
One. There's a BBC Two. There's a BBC Sport.
There's also BBC World. There's a BBC. There's all different channels for BBC over
all
the
right.
UK.
Yeah. No. So. It's a full day of cricket here.
And finishing up the Bitsi story, Bitsi.com will also have a trackside presence at different tracks throughout the calendar. They're going to be on the corners.
Okay.
You're going to be able to see. Thank God it's not a hard seeing that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because bitchy would not be a great thing to say on the air too much. One last little thing in this category here: the French National Lottery has launched a new scratch card game based on the French Olympic and Paralympic teams in Tokyo.
Oh, great!
They did a partnership with the Olympic teams for the 2024 Olympics. And they're going to be doing the next 3 years of developing scratch games and other lottery-type games for Olympic sports. It's the first time a lottery has done Olympic sports in the European area. So I just wanted to throw that out there. It's something different.
Yeah, no, great. And today's Trip Down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And as always, you can get in touch with Turnpike Sports by calling or texting us at 609-512-5910. That's 609-512-5910. At Turnpike Sports is the show's handle on Facebook and Twitter. At Turnpike Sports Radio is our handle on Instagram. And as always, our email address is info@turnpikesportsradio.com. And don't forget, you can listen to the show via Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, radio.com mobile app, as well as Stitcher and YouTube. You can also watch us on your smart TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. Head on over to turnpikesports.net. You'll be able to watch our video channel there.
Well, we got a busy show coming up for you. We got a Beatin The House segment, we got a By the Numbers segment, and we also have a book report. But right after this, I talk eSports in Atlantic City with John Boyd, who's a principal of the Boyd Corporation. It's going to be an amazing future for eSports in Atlantic City, and John's going to talk all about it. So stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Is your bathroom looking old and worn out? Want to update it, but you don't know where to start? Then let BCI Bath & Shower show you how to turn that old bath into an aisle of beauty and functionality. Our residential bathroom solutions provide the best value on the market, and our customer service is second to none. Our cost-effective BCI Bath & Shower family of products has what you need.
Remodeling our bathroom was a big decision for us.
They didn't make a mess out of our house at all. And at the end of the day, we had a beautiful new bathroom. And it was a great experience the whole way through.
We have the best monthly payment programs in the industry, with payments as low as $68 per month or no interest, no payments for 18 months. For a limited time, be one of the first 100 callers who schedule a free in-home consultation and receive $500 off. Call 1-800-594-9530, 1-800-594-9530. Factory-trained and certified installers made in the USA, and discounts for seniors and military. BCI Bath & Shower, the leader in affordable bathroom products.
Psst. Yeah, you. Come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore. Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back.
Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-297-9788. 800-297-9788.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. Anyone who follows the news knows that eSports has exploded over the last couple of years. It's catching on all over the world, and one of those locations that hopes to be a major hub for eSports is Atlantic City, because Stockton University and AC just received a $200,000 investment for an eSports Innovation Center. And to tell us what we can expect from eSports in Atlantic City is a guy who knows the subject inside and out and is a returning guest to our show, John Boyd, principal of the Boyd Company. John, thanks for coming on.
Dave, it's great to be with you.
Thanks for coming on. Again, it's great to talk to you. I mean, I was telling you off the air, I drive by one of the Boyd offices in Princeton, New Jersey about like 2 or 3 times a week, and I know the incredible work the Boyd Company does. But for people out there who aren't familiar with the Boyd Company, can you tell us a little something about it?
Sure. We counsel major corporations where to locate their facilities throughout North America. We've been very active in the tech industry with serving clients like HP, Dell, and Philips. And, eSports is a real growth avenue for our business, and also the private developers that we provide location recommendations for. Over the years, we provided economic development counsel to some of the nation's top gambling markets like Las Vegas, Reno, Lake Tahoe, and a number of Indian tribes, along with Atlantic County. And again, eSports is really an exciting growth opportunity for Atlantic City.
Now, for a lot of people in this country, eSports is a really new thing. I mean, a lot of people aren't really sure what it is. When we use the term eSports, what are we talking about?
Well, eSports is competitive video game playing, where you have thousands of people packing into stadiums or smaller facilities around the country, or even viewing online professional video game players playing popular video games like Fortnite, FIFA, NBA 2K, League of Legends. And it's a huge industry. Last year, generating over $2 billion in revenue and over 500 million viewers worldwide. I project esports to soon have more viewers than every professional sport except the NFL. A couple of other interesting benchmarks to view why this is such a powerful platform for advertisers. 80% of esport viewers are millennials. Mm-hmm. Okay, and millennials, of course, the most coveted consumer sector by marketers of virtually all consumer products. And another interesting benchmark, in esports inaugural season, franchises went for $20 million.
Wow.
Now expansion slots are going for as much as $60 million. And it's attracting a lot of high net worth individuals, celebrities like Shaquille O'Neal, Mark Cuban, the Kraft Group in Boston, Elon Musk. So it's a very exciting industry.
You mentioned them, and I know we were on this show. We've talked about the incredible growth of esports, and it was very interesting to see some of the investors and the companies that are involved with esports. I mean, I've seen that they have apparel deals and sneaker deals, and I think it's funny that a sport where you basically sit down, actually has a sneaker deal, but that's a little funny to me. But it shows you some of the amazing things that are happening with esports. You mentioned them before, but who are some of the investors and who are some of the companies that are getting involved with esports?
Well, you have Tencent Holdings in China, one of the largest media companies in the globe. The Kraft Group. I mentioned Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, Shaquille O'Neal. There's so many synergies with esports with other industries that are high growth and industries of the future, like artificial intelligence, augmented reality, cybersecurity. I think the New Jersey economic development leaders behind the grant to Stockton, would like nothing better than this innovation center to be a catalyst for new startup ventures in esports, but also those related IT fields.
One of the fascinating things to me is that the owners and other professional leagues and athletes are getting involved with esports. I mean, has that helped the growth of esports, that the fact that, other athletes and other professional teams are involved, has that given that credibility to help it grow?
Yes, this is a mainstream sport because of the high-profile celebrities and business leaders that are in esports, but also colleges now that recognize esports as a legitimate sport. Parents are now thinking twice about encouraging their kids not to play video games. So I think that's very interesting. And I think COVID obviously demonstrated how resilient this industry is. It's a virtual industry, very like so many other parts of our economy. And one of the other caveats about esports, unlike traditional sports like the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, is that there's a shelf life for these games. usually between 1 and 2 years. So there's a constant need for new innovation, new product development, new software development.
I want to hit on something that you mentioned, and I've talked to a lot of people in the esports business, and that's one of the things they brought up. The esports business, I mean, even with a global pandemic, you couldn't even slow down its growth. Is that one of the main things that has been attracting investors to the esports world? I mean, it's strengthened the market and its durability, even in the face of a thing like a pandemic?
No question. The pandemic showed just how resilient esports is. And it's also provided a platform for developers to really repurpose a lot of vacant real estate. You look at companies like Horizon Group Properties. You look at the new Bushwick facility in Brooklyn, a repurposed shopping center. Some of the nation's most coveted vacant real estate is prime for repurposing into esports. And a lot of this we expect to happen in Atlantic County. One of the responsibilities of New Jersey's economic development leadership in the real estate community will be to be proactive and really promote Atlantic City as a great premier place for a lot of these forums to take place.
Well, speaking of investment, I mean, as you said, the state of New Jersey is making a big one in Atlantic City when it comes to esports. Tell us something about the $200,000 investment the state of New Jersey is making towards esports in Atlantic City.
This is an exciting commitment New Jersey is making in Stockton. Stockton has really become a major engine of commerce for South Jersey. First, with the hospitality program. It's a nationally ranked hospitality program that partnered with Cornell a number of years ago. Now it's playing a similar role for this booming esports industry. And economic development really is about fishing where the fish are.
Yeah.
And I think esports represents a very timely opportunity for Atlantic City to add pace to its economic recovery. I mean, profits are up this year. The casino industry is rebounding post-COVID. I think this new program in Stockton can really serve to enhance the Atlantic City brand and also introduce and reintroduce South Jersey as a premier place for gaming and related IT industry. Keep in mind, too, Atlantic County has some of the lowest business cost in the Northeast. You factor that with proximity to Philadelphia, home, of course, to the Philadelphia Fusion, owned by Commerce, by Comcast. UPenn and Drexel have two of the nation's top gaming programs in North America. Proximity to New York, the largest millennial demographic key for esports. Also, New York, home to a burgeoning esports industry with the Excelsior, owned by Jeff Wilpon. Of course, they play at Hammerstein Ballroom. So Atlantic City is really in a sweet spot here. And another interesting, I think, narrative here is the abundance of low-cost, green-friendly energy. Okay, You have the largest offshore wind farm in North America happening off the coast of Atlantic City. Data security and data centers are a big part of esports and virtual gaming. That will be a major narrative that New Jersey can use to attract the major data center operations related to esports in the months and years ahead.
Why do you think that the New Jersey Economic Development Authority decided now to make an investment in esports? And I think you touched on this before. Why do you think they thought Atlantic County would be the best place for the investment? Was North Jersey ever considered, or why did they figure Atlantic County was the best place for this?
Well, Atlantic County is the center of gravity for New Jersey's gaming industry.
Yeah.
We have the requisite skill sets. We have Atlantic County has the hospitality infrastructure to host esport-related conventions and other types of esport business travel. Wagering we expect to happen very soon on esports in New Jersey, beyond specifically sanctioned esport events.
Now, when you talk about areas that are big with esports, there are certain areas in this country that come to my mind anyway. Las Vegas has the Luxor. Certainly Texas is a big esports destination. And, as you said, people who live in the Northeast know about Philadelphia and the Fusion Arena. Do you think this investment into Atlantic City could put Atlantic City into that list of those destinations I just named as being one of the big hubs of esports?
Absolutely. I mean, some of the major global hubs for esports: Singapore, London, Berlin, Shanghai, Montreal. here in the U.S., Dallas, Vegas, Austin, Seattle, Denver, major esports hubs. There's no reason Atlantic City can't join that elite company. I think it'll take effective promotion to do that. But I think this investment in Stockton is a good first step. It's catching the attention of major players in esports. So we're very optimistic.
Well, let me ask you, I mean, just because of the location, it would seem that Philadelphia would be the biggest competition when it came to esports in Atlantic City. I mean, how do you think Atlantic City would do in the market they share with Philadelphia? I mean, for people around the country who are listening, Philadelphia is only a 45-minute drive away from Atlantic City. Do you think Atlantic City could compete against a city that size?
Absolutely, and there's a lot of synergies. Atlantic City will benefit from proximity to the critical mass of colleges and universities, as well as the Overwatch franchise in Philadelphia. You think about the attractive lifestyle amenities in shore communities like Margate, Longport, and Ventnor. These are attractive places for esport professionals to live. And of course, you know, the big grill in the room is the gaming component.
Yeah.
Which will really, again, be another major source of revenue for New Jersey's gaming industry.
You know, the term that's being thrown around with this $200,000 investment is eSports Innovation Center. I mean, that's what's going to be created. What exactly does that mean? When they use the term innovation, what do they have envisioned for this project?
I think that it's above and beyond software development. It's also those related IT fields, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity. You know, we talked about proximity to Philadelphia. You know, we can envision almost a new tech corridor along the Atlantic City Expressway connecting Philadelphia with Atlantic City. You know, data center, cybersecurity operations, and new gaming app development facilities. You think about some of the interesting office potential, whether that be a downtown setting in Camden or a more suburban, low-cost area in Atlantic County. I mean, the abundance of low-cost real estate distinguishes Atlantic County very nicely for projects like this.
You know, one of the great things about esports, and you mentioned it before, is how much colleges and universities are getting involved with it. I mean, certainly the initial beneficiary of this investment is Stockton University. But is this something that could benefit esports in this country in general?
Absolutely, and smart colleges are really embracing this. Almost 100 colleges today have esport programs. And, you know, Stockton is now in the mix with leading universities like UC Irvine, for example, or the University of Utah, which have premier gaming programs. So it's really a smart move. It's a great partnership. The most successful economic development programs today are ones that have synergy between lawmakers, the real estate community, and the academic community. And Stockton is really a big partner for the gaming industry today, along with the hospitality industry for Atlantic County and throughout South Jersey.
You know, when we talk about Atlantic City, everyone thinks of gambling and sports betting. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I interviewed Grant Johnson from eSports Entertainment Group, who has obtained a license to create a sports betting platform devoted to esports. When it comes to sports betting and esports in New Jersey, what is the state of the law right now?
The state of the law, esports betting is legal, but it's on a case-by-case basis. The Gaming Authority has to approve different events, typically by the major leagues like Overwatch. There is a new bill that we expect to pass. It's now advancing in the legislature that would permanently allow legal wagering on all video game competitions. I mean, obviously, there'll be some regulations put in place. I think all participants would have to be 18 and older, for example. But the lawmakers in Trenton will work all of that out. But at the end of the day, and hopefully very soon, legalized betting on esports will be another arrow in the quiver of Atlantic City as it competes for further esports investments and jobs.
You know, when it comes to the esports betting bill, what kind of restrictions should we expect to see? You mentioned the age requirement, which is certainly foremost in everyone's mind. And also there's, you know, at the moment, which may change very shortly, when it comes to college athletics, there's a restriction in New Jersey that you can't bet on any collegiate activity that occurs within the state. When esports betting legislation is enacted, what kind of restrictions should we expect to see?
Well, obviously 18 and over.
Yeah.
Okay, I think there might be some other interesting under the radar screen restrictions related to data security and payment processing, given the global nature of esports. And the collegiate front is very interesting. I mean, you look at the recent Supreme Court decision where collegiate athletes now can get licensing agreements and brand themselves. So that's something that's going to have ramifications throughout the world of college sports and media and product licensing, and that will impact esports also.
With this investment with Stockton University, do you see the casinos in Atlantic City trying to get more involved with esports? I mean, I've talked to a lot of casino operators and a lot of casino marketers, and before the pandemic, their main goal was to get younger people into the casinos and attract the millennials to the properties. I mean, it seems to me that esports is a great way to do that. Do you think the casinos will start embracing esports as a result of this investment?
Yes, and we're seeing it happen with great success already in Las Vegas. You look at their virtual reality offerings. And Dave, the direction of the gaming industry, it's all about providing a mixed-use, millennial-friendly experience. And that has to do with nightlife amenities, different types of live entertainment, and now increasingly gaming and virtual reality and esports. And we look at the casinos embracing this through wagering, but also different types of opportunities to actually host forums for esports. You think about, the Tropicana Casino in Atlantic City is home to the only IMAX movie theater in South Jersey.
Yeah.
What a great potential venue for esports. You could envision that being hosting esports competitions in the future. You think about other types of vacant retail and mall properties that are very attractive for repurposing into this type of space also.
Well, you touch on my next question. How do you think this investment will affect Atlantic City as a whole? I mean, there's certainly other properties in the city that could be utilized. How do you think this new eSports Innovation Center could affect the whole city of Atlantic City?
I think it's really a net positive. It's going to help the city rebound from COVID. It's going to help Atlantic City promote itself as a mixed-use entertainment destination for esport-related activities and conventions. And again, it really comes down to leadership. And I'd like to see the state really promote Atlantic City the way that other premier hospitality markets like Orlando and Las Vegas are aggressively marketed to a global audience.
Talk about a time frame. When do you think we can see more esports in Atlantic City? Is this a year in the making, 2 years in the making? What can we expect from esports in Atlantic City?
I think within the next 18 months, we're going to start seeing a lot more activities. We're going to see more wagering happening in the sports books in Atlantic City. And I think I'd also expect to see lawmakers introduce some targeted tax incentives to expand broadband infrastructure, other types of sales tax exemptions for IT software equipment critical for esports and related gaming activity. A great case study is Louisiana, which really has some of the most effective digital interactive media incentive programs. So I'd be on the lookout for that also as a major priority of New Jersey's economic development program.
Do you think this development in Atlantic City will start investment around the country or around the state of New Jersey itself? I'm surprised the Meadowlands hasn't jumped on board with esports and things like that. But do you think this will start investment in esports around the country?
We do, and it's interesting. I had a call last week on this subject, and a lot of influential developers are asking me about the Meadowlands and the opportunities that exist with the American Dream Mall.
Yeah.
And that would be an exciting opportunity also to take a look at.
John, we're running out of time, but can you give out a website for the Boyd Company so people can check it out and keep up with the latest what you guys are doing? Yeah, you can visit us at theboydcompany.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is the Boyd Company. There's a link to that via our webpage. John Boyd from the Boyd Company, thanks so much for coming on and telling us all about this incredible development for Atlantic City. I'm sure this is going to be in the news a lot in the future, so please come back on and keep us updated about what's going on with eSports in Atlantic City.
Thanks, Dave. It was great to talk to you again.
Come here.
Stick around. We'll be right back with
Haven't you
more
heard?
Turnpike Sports.
We don't need to hide anymore. Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost anyone else. Free shipping and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
We'll get back to the show in a few moments, but I just wanted to take some time and tell everyone about Bean Genius, the smart specialty coffee subscription service. Bean Genius sells freshly roasted coffee from some of the best independent coffee roasters in the country. They feature over 2,000 specialty coffee blends, all at your fingertips at beangenius.com. Here's how it works. Head on over to beangenius.com and take their palate profiler test to find out what coffee best fits your taste. Then select from a variety of subscription plans. Every subscription comes with free shipping, and delivery can even be scheduled for once or twice each month. And based upon your review of each coffee blend you try, Bean Genius actually learns your individual taste preferences and then suggests future coffee blends for you. And now you can get 10% off your Bean Genius subscription when you use our promo code PIKE at checkout. Bean Genius offers a variety of subscription plans to suit any coffee lover's needs. Subscribe with Bean Genius today and start enjoying some of the best tasting coffee around. And save 10% off your coffee plan with promo code PIKE.
It's a casino. People gotta win sometime.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a giant, colorful check to deposit.
Beatin The House is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Slots, table games, live dealer games, everything you love about Atlantic City and Vegas, all online at BetMGM. Don't wait. Join in the fun now. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Grab a lion's share of the fun at BetMGM.com. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to this week's Beatin the House segment, where we actually celebrate the winners against the casinos and the sports books and the lotteries.
You know, people who go to casinos and play in casinos, you know the odds are against you, but, you know, sometimes there's that special moment where you get to beat the house, and that's what we're celebrating right now.
And again, this is, I've been noticing a lot of the jackpots over the last couple of weeks. I've been starting to notice this. They're waiting on things, or they've decided to, you know, they're just killing time, or they do this because something happens where they're waiting on something, so they actually just throw some money in a game.
I know. I like the stories where someone was walking out and they decided to throw their last $5 in the slot machine next to the exit, and they win. So I like stories like that.
Well, we usually start out in Vegas, or at least Nevada. Today we're going to start in Tulsa.
All right.
Cindy and Warren Smith from Tulsa hit a $1.175 million jackpot at the River Spirit Casino Resort.
Great.
This couple are regulars at the casino, and they usually go to play Ultimate Hold'em, not slot machines.
You know, I like it when regulars win. It's great, you know, because, you know, they've
earned their time there.
Yeah, they've earned their time. They they love the place. Now they love it even more, and it's great. Great to see.
Well, like I said, they went there. They usually go there, and they went to play Ultimate Hold'em, which is their game. They always play that. They had to wait this time. So while they were waiting, they went over to the Monopoly Money Grab machine and started playing. They put in $100 and started playing.
Okay.
They ran down to about $10 of that 100.
Okay.
So they put another 100 more in, and they kept playing.
Okay.
3 spins later, they got the bonus spin. Now, they thought that was nothing. They thought it was like $1,500, that kind of bonus. This happened, and it hit the $1.175 million jackpot.
That's great.
And, it's kind of interesting. This game was only on the floor for about 3 weeks.
Okay.
Brand new game in the casino.
Was it called Monopoly Money Grab?
Monopoly Money
All
Grab.
right.
It's not a brand new machine, but it was new for the casino.
All right.
At this place here. It was another Williams machine. We talked about Williams last week.
Okay.
I thought the way they pay this out is interesting. They pay out the jackpot to winners of this progressive, this $1.175 million, in 20-year installments.
Okay. All right.
So it's not, you don't walk away with $1.175 million.
You don't have the big check that you
have
deposit?
the big check.
Oh, okay. They have the big
the
promotional
novelty
check.
The novelty check.
Okay.
But they don't get all the money at once. It's paid out in installments per year, which actually is not that bad.
Right,
I mean, you're not going to blow that money right away. You know, a lot of people get the money and just go crazy with it. Okay. This couple is probably going to be spending this as it comes in. Now, this was a progressive that was the combination of 200 machines across the state.
Okay.
So this just happened to hit at the River Spirit Casino in Tulsa.
All right.
Moving over into Nevada, we're going to go to the Red Rock Casino in Las Vegas. And Red Rock Casino is part of Stations Casinos. Their loyalty club is called Boarding Pass.
Okay.
Because of the train theme. So one lucky Boarding Pass member hit for $77,760 playing Buffalo Gold, another one of the Buffalo machines.
The Buffalo machine, okay.
Now, this is the big one with the snorting buffalo on the thing. And, you know, we always talk about what Buffalo game is what. And, you know.
They're usually the first thing I see when I walk into a casino because they're usually the biggest.
Well, they're also positioned that way, so you go right to them.
Well, you know, it's made that way.
Exactly.
They designed the casino floor like that.
Moving over to South Point, we've got a tourist from Virginia hitting a jackpot of $292,000 playing the Wheel of Fortune machine.
That's
another one.
That's a big winner.
That's IGT. And it's always in the news for payouts, and wherever casinos have it. It's all over the country, as a matter of fact. And, again, every week I seem to hit a Wheel of Fortune jackpot.
Okay.
Going over to Harrah's. Now, this is not a slot machine. This is a $249,000 win at 3-card poker at Harrah's.
Wow. Okay.
He was.
Where's this at?
This is in Nevada still.
Nevada. Okay.
The player was just passing the time as his flight to San Jose was delayed.
Like I said, I love those stories. That's great.
He got a royal flush to get the jackpot.
Yep.
So those are the slot machines. Those are table games. We got 2 lottery wins this week.
2 lottery wins. Okay.
And one actually ended up not being a big payday for people because 10,000 people won the Carolina Pick 3 last week.
10,000 winners.
10,000 winners.
I've never heard of that many winners.
That's why I included it. A $3.6 million jackpot to be split among 10,000 people.
How would you like to finally win the lottery and win it with 10,000 others?
And you didn't even get an even split between the 10,000 winners.
All right.
It depends upon how much you bet.
Oh, okay. All right.
All the winners chose the same numbers. You want to know the numbers?
Sure. Why not?
0, 0, 0.
Wow. Okay.
Each beat the odds of 1 in 1,000 to win that.
All right.
And it depends on their prizes. If the players who paid 50 cents to play to get the draw, they get $250 before taxes.
It's interesting that North Carolina has a lottery that you can just put in 50 cents for. I don't in New Jersey and Pennsylvania and Massachusetts and New York. I don't know if there's anything like that.
Well,
a 50-cent lottery drawing?
The people who put in $1 get a prize of $500 each.
I can see $1. I mean, I know New Jersey has dollars. I think Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania, they all have dollar things. I've never heard of 50 cents.
Now, you got to remember, these amounts are before taxes.
Yeah.
So
okay.
They're winning about $200,
wow.
Maybe. And then the $500 people.
That would suck, though, man. Can you imagine winning the lottery and then finding out you're one of 10,000 people? Oh, my God.
No, it's
it'd be crushing.
Well, you mentioned Jersey.
Oh,
our last entry.
Oh, Jersey one. Okay.
We have a pair of lucky winners for the Jersey Cash 5.
We play Jersey Cash 5 all the time. What I didn't hear about this. What's going on?
They won a jackpot over $1 million.
How many people?
Two.
Okay. All right.
Both players matched all 5 numbers.
All right.
The total amount was $1.04 million.
Okay.
This was a Sunday ago.
Okay. I found out Jersey Cash 5 is actually 7 days a week.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
One of the few games that's 7 days a week.
I think I bought a ticket on a Sunday morning. I thought it was for Monday. No, it was for Sunday.
Well, you got to remember, everyone focuses on the national ones, Powerball and Mega Millions.
You can do well in the local lotteries.
Yeah, but again, the local lotteries are nothing to sneeze at.
No, absolutely.
And they're run all the time. And each of them will receive $520,000 out of the $1.04 million. That's before taxes. And that's it for this week's lucky winners in Beatin the House. If casinos, lotteries, if you have any news about who won what, let us know. info@turnpikesportsradio.com, and we'll be sure to include you in the next episode of Beatin the House.
So I'm assuming By the Number segment is coming up, right, Doug?
Yes.
So stick around. By the Numbers is coming up. More Turnpike Sports after this.
Attention seniors with Medicare. This is an important announcement. Did you know you may qualify for a monthly Social Security rebate? Did you know you may qualify for a $0 monthly premium? That's right. You may qualify to get $135 added back to your Social Security check each month. Just call the Medicare benefits line to get your options. It's a free call. You may also qualify for $0 premiums, dental coverage, vision coverage, hearing coverage, and prescription drug coverage. With this type of plan, you don't need Medicare supplement insurance. Call now because you deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits, including a rebate to your Social Security check each month. Agents are standing by with free information regarding Medicare benefits. It's a free call with no obligation, but it could mean big savings for you. Call the Medicare benefits line now to see if you're eligible for a Social Security rebate.
Call 800-574-6770. 800-574-6770.
Now that we're home more than ever, we need to feel safe. Call it a sign of the times or the world we now live in. What do you want to keep safe? The people in your life? What do you want to protect? Your possessions, the things that belong to you, the things that you've worked hard for. Wouldn't it be nice to have tested, trusted 24/7 protection? Peace of mind, real protection that's always there for you and your whole family? Well, now you can with one of our state-of-the-art home security systems. Everyone thinks their home is safe until the unexpected happens. Help protect your home and loved ones today with the affordable next generation in home security. To help keep your family and property safe, call 1-800-520-4068 now. Representatives are standing by to assist you. That's 1-800-250-4068. 1-800-520-4068.
And By the Numbers is sponsored by Play Sugar House Online Casino and Sportsbook in New Jersey. Sign up at playsugarhouse.com/pike and get a first deposit match of up to $250. Enjoy the casino experience online. Play Sugar House offers over 400 games online, slots, table games, hey, even bingo. It's like being in a casino without leaving your home. That's playsugarhouse.com/pike to get your first deposit match of up to $250 today. Must be 21 years or older and physically present in New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 800gambler.org.
And in this week's By the Numbers, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to focus on video games this week.
Video games?
All video games.
All video games.
We got 2 entries this week. The first number is $5 billion, and this is $5 billion.
Okay.
Pokemon Go.
I'm glad you're not making me guess that because I would have never guessed it.
Well, it could only be money.
Yeah, $5 billion. $5 billion, yep.
Pokemon Go has surpassed the $5 billion mark in lifetime revenue.
Wow.
The game came out in 2016. It's only 6 years old. 5 years old. I'm sorry. I'm doing my math wrong already.
Why did I feel Pokemon
Go,
okay,
not Pokemon.
Okay, so Pokemon is...
Remember that stupid thing where people were walking around looking for it through their app?
Yeah.
We're talking about the app.
Okay.
The app itself, $5 billion.
All right, okay.
Let's see. It's still growing, they're saying. Pokemon Go achieved $642 million in global revenues in the first half of 2021 alone. That was a growth of 34% year over year. Now, 2020 had a record year as well, $1.3 billion in revenue generated. So this has now gone from $1.3 billion to $5 billion.
Well, I would think people were playing it during the pandemic.
Oh, I would think so,
yeah,
too.
I know. So that's a reason for those big numbers.
They had a 41% year-over-year increase.
Oh.
And one other little note for this game, the United States has been the top revenue source for the game since its launch, and Google Play has accounted for 53% of the downloads and player spending.
Wow, okay.
Because you have to buy certain things in the app to continue playing.
Oh, what a great idea! I mean,
well, that's all
just,
apps. You ever hear the phrase "level up"? That's what that means.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to either you score certain points or you buy certain aspects of the game where it increases the game's difficulties or prizes, that sort of thing. But Pokemon Go has now hit past the $5 billion revenue mark, which I think is incredible.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Now this next one is $1.56 million. And this is an auction price.
Oh, wait. I know what this is. This is the
sealed copy of the Nintendo 64 Super Mario 64 game.
So what's the deal with that? I mean, that has to be a box that was never opened. It has to be in mint condition. Is that what we're talking about here?
This is exactly that.
Okay.
Not opened. Although I don't know anybody who bought one and, had the foresight to say this is going to be a collector's item.
You know how much stuff we've gotten that's worth so much money if we just didn't open boxes? And,
well, that's what I'm saying. I
or
just
actually
don't know.
Enjoy it as kids,
And also, some of these games at the time are expensive. And, I guess people buy two. One to play, one to hold.
So what is Super Mario 64, right? I mean, what year are we talking about? What kind of time range are we? When was this done? I don't even know what this is done.
Oh, this is in the 80s.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, 80s, 90s.
Yeah, Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
It was sold for $1.56 million at Heritage Auctions, and it broke the record that was just set not too long ago. It was set 2 days before this. So we had two record-breaking sales of video games. Legend of Zelda for the NES sold for $870,000 at auction. That was the record for the most expensive video game ever held.
I have never played The Legend of Zelda.
I have never played it.
I've heard it about it. Certainly I know about it, but I've never played The Legend of Zelda.
I just remember the Saturday morning cartoon that was based upon the game, and I just never understood it. I remember watching what was that? The Saturday morning Supercade, where it was all the Atari games that was animated. Donkey Kong.
I remember the Donkey Kong. Cubert.
All those things.
Yeah,
that was a huge thing back then. So
with Saturday morning
It was called
Something
Saturday Morning Supercade.
Saturday Morning Supercade. Okay.
So, but going back to
they
these,
had Pac-Man too.
Pac-Man, and also I believe there was something else. There was one other game I can't remember what it was, but it was basically anytime you walk into an arcade, you had all these different games that they were made into cartoons, and that was a big thing back then. I don't see that too often done anymore now. A lot of it's the other way around. They have the cartoons and then they put games
they don't have any
based
Saturday
upon
morning cartoons.
But they have the anime stuff now, which is that's on like Cartoon Network and Comedy and Adult Swim, whatever channel that's on. They do a lot of the anime. But here's the list of the records that have been set by these games. You ready for this?
Yeah.
July 10th, 2020. Copy of Super Mario Brothers sold for $114,000. November 23rd, 2020. Another copy of Super Mario Brothers 3 sold for $156,000. April 2nd, 2021. Another copy of Super Mario Brothers sells for $660,000. Then July 9th of this year, Legend of Zelda sold for $870,000, and then we have Super Mario 64 selling for $1.56 million. So it's almost been like doubling every different auction they have of these things. I guess they're finding more and more of these games in perfect condition for these auctions.
By the way, a couple more games that were featured on the Saturday Morning Supercade.
Wait. Let me see if I can guess some of these. We already did Pac-Man. We did Donkey Kong Jr.
Okay, they're not mentioning Pac-Man here, but they're mentioning Donkey Kong.
Pitfall was one.
Pitfall.
Yes, I
Q-Bert,
remember that.
And here's one I forgot. Frogger.
What was Frogger about?
I have no idea.
I mean, the game was just him crossing the street and then a stream.
I have no idea. But no, it ran from 2 seasons, 83 to 85.
I don't know what kind of storylines they could have for a Frogger cartoon. I mean, was there a main Frogger character? I can't remember that.
I'm just getting the list of it.
I mean, I remember Q-Bert. Q-Bert was kind of weird, and Donkey Kong Jr.
I don't remember Q-Bert too much, but I remember the game. I don't remember the cartoon.
I just remember, what was it, Donkey Kong Jr. who always cried monkey muscle before he did something.
Okay, I don't remember that part either.
Yeah, so
wow, okay.
But it was just a weird combination, and went along with the sugary cereal you were eating at the time.
Yep.
That's it for this week's By the Numbers. We did a short segment here. It was kind of interesting because those two numbers were kind of standing out. We never really focused on video games before strictly for By the Numbers, so I wanted to do that this week.
The book report's coming up next, so stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. To get the coverage you need, call the number on the screen now.
Turnpike Sports Book Report.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sportsbook. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to another edition of the Book Report, where we talk about the news and notes going on around the country with sports books, sometimes also international stories, where we do have a couple this week. We're going to be talking about some state reports. We're going to do a national sports betting update in terms of revenue and handle numbers. We've got a bunch of launches that happen. We also have, in terms of legislation, we have New York finally releasing their RFA for online sports betting in the state. It's much delayed. Now they have it, and people have been dissecting it. We will, too, a little bit. Wyoming opened up their sports betting application process, and we have a bunch of deals to talk about. Now, normally we start with one of those topics. I'm going to start this week with some integrity and suspicious betting reports.
Okay.
The International Betting Integrity Association. By the way, integrity is a huge issue for the sports betting industry, not just in the United States, but worldwide as well. And a bunch of different groups out there are watchdog agencies, and we need them.
Yep, absolutely.
Match fixing is a big problem. There's a lot of different organizations out there that do it. The International Betting Integrity Association released their quarterly report this year. They had reported 38 cases of suspicious betting during the second quarter of 2021.
Wow. Okay.
Now, suspicious betting doesn't mean something was really happening. It just something odd popped up, and they had to investigate.
It was curious. So
it raised an eyebrow.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, they had 38 cases in the second quarter of this year, which is a 41% decrease when compared to the first quarter of this year. They had 64 in the first year, 38 in the second quarter of this year.
Second quarter.
This is quarter to quarter to quarter.
Okay.
And also they had a 41% decrease year over year.
Okay.
Quarter 2 of 2020 also had about 65 alerts. So the 38 in quarter 2 of 2021 is a move in the right direction.
Good.
Breakdown. They actually give a breakdown of the sports.
Oh, okay.
Football, 16 cases. Now, when they say football, they mean soccer.
Okay. All right, soccer. All right.
Table tennis had 9 reports.
Really? All right.
Tennis had 6. eSports had 6. And beach volleyball, we're going to talk a little bit more about beach volleyball again. We talked last week about beach volleyball. We now have 1 report in beach volleyball that was reported in the second quarter of this year. Mid-year total is 102 alerts reported by the association. Again, football was the highest.
Soccer, you mean?
Soccer.
Soccer.
Yes, soccer.
Okay.
Breakdown by the countries. Let's see. 15 different countries where the states where the alerts were reported. 5 the number of different sports. 6 alerts on tennis. That's the lowest of the reports in tennis since they started doing these quarterly reports in 2015.
Okay.
Which leads us to what happened in Wimbledon. Kind of interesting that was the lowest number reported in tennis, and we have Wimbledon having 2.
Oh, okay.
According to the International Tennis Integrity Association, there's another association for you. They had to look into 2 suspicious alerts during Wimbledon. This is according to the German media outlet Welt.
Welt. I've never heard of that.
Multiple betting agencies reported questionable bets on a first-round doubles match that saw the odds-on favorites win the first set before dropping the next 2.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what's so specific about it, but I guess it raised enough eyebrows where they had to alert the tennis agency here and say,
really?
Hey, take a look at this. They didn't identify the specific match, but they said it was a first-round doubles match.
Interesting. I mean, because they won the first. I mean, they dropped the next 2 sets.
Yeah,
is that all of a sudden they
according
bells
to
and whistles went off?
According to Well, the match raised flags because of the timing of the betting, and also the size of the wagers in relation to the losses.
Okay.
So
right,
maybe the first loss was a certain amount of money, then the second loss was probably a lot more money.
Huh. Okay.
So that's and also.
I guess they have to take everything into account.
Exactly.
I mean, so.
But
I
also,
guess timing is a big thing.
You also have to think Wimbledon, one of the biggest tennis tournaments out there. They had to pay attention to it.
Well, certainly everything about Wimbledon is going to be watched closely. So.
And the second alert for Wimbledon featured a singles match involving a German player.
Okay.
And kind of interesting, a German media outlet was reporting this. The Tennis Integrity Association was notified by betting agencies about a number of large five-figure wagers that were oddly placed on the score of the third set. So it was a betting pattern that was out of the ordinary for the rest of the match.
Interesting.
And one other oddity, it wasn't on the German player. It was on the German player's opponent.
Okay.
So we had 2 alerts in Wimbledon alone. It's actually kind of amazing, the technology to track this type of betting in terms of timing and where it's being placed, how it's being placed, and the impact.
With the technology and the resources put in place, you would think it'd be stupid to even try things like fixing matches and fixing games or doing weird things with sports. It just everyone's so alert to these things now.
Well, let's move over to some of the launches we're going to talk about this week. We've got a mini casino launching in York, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
We've talked about this before.
I love that idea about a mini casino. It's not a big Vegas-style resort, but Pennsylvania allows you to have these smaller casinos all around the state.
Well, this mini casino will now have a Barstool-branded sports and race book.
Great.
You don't see a race book too often anymore.
Yeah.
I know Borgata's got the race and sports book.
Yeah,
that's the only race book, I think, in Atlantic City.
I think that's the only race book in Atlantic City.
It's nice to see a race book being
That's a
put
fun
together.
place to hang out in the afternoon, too.
The race book?
Yeah.
So they're going to have a Barstool sports book and race book in the Hollywood Casino York, which is going to launch mid-August. It's Penn's third facility, and they're going to have another facility, Hollywood Casino Morgantown, scheduled for opening later this year.
Wow.
No word on whether they're going to have a Barstool-branded sports book there. Stadium Casino LLC. They just got a sports wagering certificate from the Gaming Control Board in Pennsylvania. Now, Stadium Casino is also the operator of the 2 live casinos. The one in Philly, makes sense, it's at the Stadium Complex.
Sure.
And the Westmoreland Mall.
Okay.
So that's a mini casino.
Okay.
We'll see exactly what happens there. We've got Michigan. Just announced that they gave a sports betting license to firekeepers, the Potawatomi Nation Indians in Michigan.
All right.
They got their okay to launch the 13th online sports betting and casino operation combination.
Wow. Great.
So they're going to be launching their own platform with NYX Digital. This is interesting. Another Australian company is just got its Iowa skin agreement.
Okay.
Bluebet.
I've never heard of that.
They're going to be launching their first skin in Iowa with the Q Casino and the Dubuque Racing Association.
Huh. What's it called again?
Bluebet.
Bluebet. Okay.
So Bluebet's targeted 5 states where they can launch. Iowa, we just talked about that. Colorado, Maryland, Tennessee, and Virginia.
Okay.
Not to be outdone, we also have another foreign company coming into New Jersey. And I want to talk about that real quick. We have, let me get my notes here, Profit. A sports betting exchange.
Okay.
Which seems to be all the rage now. It's like almost a social community for betting. You bet against other people, not the book.
That's interesting, yeah.
Profit was a UK-based brand of sports betting exchange. They are now headquartered in New Jersey, Hoboken, as a matter of fact. They have done a multi-year market access deal with Caesars.
Okay.
They're going to be launching initially in New Jersey, hopefully for the upcoming NFL and college football seasons.
Okay.
That's always pending regulatory approvals. And then they're also going to be targeting a couple other states, but Indiana is next on their list after New Jersey. Because they're partnering with Caesars, they've got the deals there with all that. Let's go over to, and I want to make sure I don't shortchange anybody here. We have some numbers to talk about. National numbers. I always find lists interesting, and I think most people do too. We have the top 10 U.S. states and sports betting handle list.
Okay.
It was just released by a couple different places.
And this is in sports betting handle.
And it's post-PASPA. This is all of it.
Okay, since 2018.
June 2018.
All right.
Needless to say, we know the number 1 and number 2.
Okay.
New Jersey and Nevada. New Jersey was number 1 with just under $16 billion in handle.
Man, boy.
Nevada was $15.45 billion. Everybody else after that's under $10 billion. We have Pennsylvania number 3, Illinois about $3 billion after that, number 4, Indiana $3.88 billion. Colorado is already in the top 10 with $2.57 billion. I'm still impressed with Colorado.
Oh no, absolutely, boy! The way they have grown and what they have done in sports betting is just absolutely amazing.
Then we have Iowa, Michigan. Which that's another state that just recently launched.
Well, they're very new, so certainly Michigan's going to be a huge player. Michigan will be, next time these numbers come out, Michigan should be higher on the list.
I don't know, because you also got Tennessee and Virginia to worry about now too. They're in the top 10. Tennessee was number 9 with $1.24 billion. They were one of the fastest to $1 billion, and then Virginia came in out of nowhere and broke the top 10. They're $1.09 billion.
Virginia did come out of nowhere, though. I'll hand it to Virginia. Boy, they just exploded into the market.
That was just an incredible showing by Virginia. I mean, that's and also they really haven't launched a lot of their books yet, too. I mean, you got some of the pro teams too that are going to be doing their own sports betting. State reports. We had New Jersey report their numbers. Again, they were with everybody else. They had a slight decline.
Okay.
Their June sports betting handle was $767 million. Online handle was about 89% of that. So they're still high with the online handle. $71.3 million in revenue.
I use online all the time, so it's not surprising.
Year over year was an interesting number, but again, you got to realize it's COVID numbers.
Yeah.
$71.3 million June of 2021 in revenue, $12.6 million June of last year. $8.73 million in taxes collected in June. This was an interesting number. The Meadowlands license brought in $44.5 million in revenue. That was a 63% market share.
Well, look, the Meadowlands is such a great location because, I mean, I was at the Meadowlands. You walk out the door and you see the New York skyline. So that's Manhattan's sportsbook there. When New York gets mobile, I'm very curious to see what the numbers out of the Meadowlands looks like. It should be very interesting.
I don't know if it's going to affect it that much.
I don't know. If you're from Manhattan and you want to place a bet on one of the games tonight, you got to go to New Jersey.
I have serious doubts that they're going to take that 20% back that they say New Jersey takes.
Wow.
I mean, maybe close to it, maybe 10%. Because you still got people who, if they don't have the ability to share a wallet, how many people are really going to open up a new account just so they can stay in New York? I mean, a lot of people go there for the atmosphere, the Meadowlands, all that stuff. They get on the train and just do it.
The great thing about the Meadowlands is game day. I mean, you share a parking lot with the Meadowlands stadium, where the Giants and the Jets play. I mean, if you're going to the Giants and the Jets game, guess what? You're probably stopping in the sports book to place a bet on it.
Yeah.
So,
two little news and notes here for New Jersey here. Their year-to-date sports betting handle is $4.89 billion for this year.
Wow.
$4.455 billion of that is online. Their online handle for this year is about 91% of the total handle. Mm-hmm. That's a huge number.
Sure.
And one other little note that was thrown out there, the 2021 New Jersey parlay revenue year-to-date was $193.99 million.
Okay.
That's the parlay revenue. That was 12.58%.
Once in a while I win a parlay, but not always.
That was 12.5% of the national revenue.
Wow, okay. All right.
So that's kind of interesting that New Jersey's parlay audience is huge. And I have to admit, I do bet parlays a lot more than I do the single bets.
Well, you do those.
Probably the smart thing to do is the single betting.
No. What you do those single game parlays, right? You like doing those? Okay.
I like digging in and finding kind of interesting numbers that make me want to say, okay, I know this can be achieved. I look for profit making single game parlays.
So you do the alternative lines.
I do
in your single game
total
parlays?
Points for players, that sort of thing.
Okay.
I dig through the alternate betting options that are given, and a lot of books, they offer different things. So you got to look around with that stuff.
No, absolutely.
Moving over to, we have the national year-to-date operator revenue of $1.54 billion. It's crossed $1.5 billion.
This is for the country.
This is national operator revenue for this year only.
Okay.
That's half a year.
All right. Wow.
Jeez. $1.54 billion. The 6-month revenue has now exceeded all of 2020. Again, COVID numbers, $1.46 billion.
Let me tell you something. The numbers are going to be huge because we haven't even hit football season yet.
No, and they're going to get even better.
It's going to be ridiculous.
You know what? You're starting to see the futures come out now. And also, a lot of states are now offering Olympic betting.
Yeah, I have to check on that. I don't know who's offering Olympic betting, or I got to be honest with you, I don't even know if I'm going to jump in on Olympic betting, but I might. Who knows?
Well, moving over to some legislation, let's start with the easy one first. We have Wyoming. Wyoming's been in the news lately. They just launched their application process for sports betting.
Okay.
They're online only. And we have the Wyoming Gaming Commission stating that Barstool, BetMGM, DraftKings, and FanDuel have already submitted formal letters of intent to get licenses in the state.
Great.
So we're seeing some of the big ones there. I haven't seen anything in terms of some of the other smaller operators, whether or not they're looking at Wyoming. But they're hoping to join Indiana and Iowa as the third state to go from legal to live in less than 5 months. That's a short time period.
So what you're saying is the legislation passing and being signed into law,
and then launching
that quickly. Okay,
in
that's
5
what you're
months.
talking about. Okay,
only Indiana and Iowa did it, so they would be the third state. Be digital only again. There's no cap on this either, so this may be one of the most competitive markets.
You mean there's no cap on the amount of
licenses
they're giving out?
Right.
So there might be a lot of sports books there.
You might be seeing New Jersey type numbers.
Competition is always good for the consumer.
Yeah,
so good for them.
Maryland, they published their draft copy of the regulations, and the Gaming Control Commission and the Maryland Lottery approved them. Maryland's going to be interesting to watch. They've got 4 different categories of licenses. These are for retail licenses, 2 for larger businesses. Class A1 licenses are for casinos with more than 1,000 slot machines, and also the professional sports franchises. That's a $2 million application fee and a bond of $6 million. Class A2 are for casinos with fewer than 1,000 slot machines and horse racing operators. $1 million application fee and $3 million bond. Then they have the classes for the businesses that aren't the casinos. You have Class B1 for businesses that do not qualify as a Class B2. Class B2 are businesses that have less than either 25 full-time employees or their revenue doesn't go above $3 million.
I love how they break it down. Every state does this. So it's just, I love that, when they're judging a casino, always the basis is the amount of slot machines.
Yeah.
Well, that should tell you how important slot machines are to a business. They're the lifeblood. They're like, what is it, like 88% of the revenue? And now casinos are determined what license they're going to get by the amount of slot machines they have.
Well, again, we just recently had Massachusetts. The 2 casinos in Massachusetts say they're not bringing back poker.
Yeah, well,
until they see an economic impact that makes it worth bringing back, or to full capacity.
Let me tell you something. You want to be profitable in poker. I mean, unfortunately, you don't want to let people go. You don't want to cut jobs. But, if you want to be profitable at poker, you need an online component.
Yeah.
I mean, that's New Jersey, has lower rakes, which is a big thing for poker players. Oh, we want the rake lower. All right, well, no, you don't want the rake lower because that means you're cutting jobs for people, especially if you don't have an online component. If you have an online component, the rakes will go down. because you know what the
if
casinos
you can work it out so that you can do it that way.
Yeah, the casinos make up the money. They have that profit expectation for poker. I mean, and they have to meet it because you know what? These places have stockholders that you know they have to make some money too.
Well,
you know?
Maryland's going to be launching soon, I think.
Good.
I don't know if it's going to hit the 5-month period that Wyoming's shooting for, but we'll see. But two other little quick legislative notes. Illinois, they renewed the DraftKings at Casino Queen owner's license through July of 2025. Unanimous vote there. And also New York. And New York's constantly in the news because I hate to say it this way, but they've been kind of slow in getting a lot of their sports betting stuff up and running.
Yeah.
And everyone's getting annoyed at them because they're not they don't seem to be, I don't know, handling anything right.
I really thought there was going to be, like earlier this year, I thought there was going to be a push by New York to try and get something in place by the beginning of football. Then I'm thinking they'll probably be by a Super Bowl, but you know, it doesn't even look like Super Bowl now. What I don't even know. Probably Super Bowl, but they're just moving so slow.
Well, needless to say, you can sum this up, the New York Gaming Commission's RFA in one phrase. The amount of tax revenue a gaming operator is willing to give the state will determine who gets these licenses.
Sure.
And there's a whole bunch of stuff to unpack here.
But you know what?
There's a point system that they have set up that there are so many different ways you can earn points to get all this. It really just does come down to how much tax money you're willing to give. They have to set a minimum floor of 50%. Before they're even accepted into all this.
But you know what? They're going to make money in New York because it's the most populated area in the country, and number two, it's the number one media area of the country. And, you know, you're going to be able to publicize what you have, and you're always going to have money if you're in New York.
Well, let's hit a couple of deals before we go for this week. We've got Fubo TV. Now, they've launched their own Fubo gaming division where they're going to be doing online gaming and the Fubo Sportsbook, online sportsbook. They just did a market deal with the Cordish companies for Pennsylvania. It's for statewide mobile access for both sports betting and iGaming, pending regulatory approvals. This agreement brings Fubo Sportsbook to a total of 4 states now. They've got market access agreements in New Jersey and Indiana and Iowa.
Okay.
New Jersey and Indiana are through Caesars. Iowa is through Casino Queen. As a matter of fact, I think we just talked about that. DraftKings at Casino Queen. They're expecting to roll out the Fubo Sportsbook by the fourth quarter of this year, 2021. Bally's is in the news again. They're constantly doing something. They just... remember a little while back they did the gamification of boxing and MMA on the Bally Sports Networks. They have now acquired the Association of Volleyball Professionals, AVP Tour.
Now, is this beach volleyball?
It's a professional beach volleyball organization.
Okay,
yes.
All right.
It's the longest-running domestic beach volleyball tour in the United States.
Is there professional non-beach volleyball? Every time I see professional beach volleyball,
go down the shore.
It's the beach, you know.
Yeah.
It's beach volleyball.
Well, there's also
I know collegiate volleyball is in a court.
Well,
the
Olympics
inside.
has both. The Olympics has a court and also beach.
Okay.
So, but they acquired the tour. They're going to gamify it like they did with the MMA deal they did with Oscar De La Hoya's company. So, congratulations. They got the AVP. AVP. I want to say APV, but it's AVP. You know, you got the marks, the logos, all that stuff to do betting on and all that. BetMGM did a deal with the Pittsburgh Pirates. You're going to see branding for BetMGM all across PNC Park. And they're going to be doing promos, activations between the two companies, BetMGM and Pittsburgh Pirates. It's for both sports betting and online gaming. WynnBET made a couple of deals. And I want to get these correct here.
Just saw a commercial for them this morning.
They have done a deal with 3 different players, 3 different professional players. And I can't find them in my notes now because I'm changing everything around while I'm doing all this segment here. But
I'll tell you what it is.
You got them in front of you there?
Yeah, Chad Ochocinco Johnson. Do I have to say Ochocinco? Is he still Ochocinco? I know he legally changed his name. Well, Chad Ochocinco Johnson.
I know one is Nick Mangold.
Nick Mangold.
Former Jet player.
Yeah, and Tim Howard.
So Tim Howard's a soccer player.
Okay.
So they're going to be doing a whole bunch of different things with WynnBET. They're going to be on their WynnBET podcast. They're going to be doing events at the different Wynn casinos. I think Wynn Las Vegas mostly. They're going to be doing activations, all that stuff.
New Jersey doesn't have a Wynn casino, right?
No,
we do
they
not
do
have
not.
a Wynn casino.
They do not have a Wynn casino. Hopefully they get something soon. WynnBET also did a deal with the Detroit Lions. As a matter of fact, the Detroit Lions are going to have what they call the WynnBET Sports Bar at Ford Field.
Great.
In addition to doing WynnBET promos, they're going to actually have sort of like what I think it was Rivers did with the Pittsburgh Penguins. They have the bar in the stadium.
Okay, yeah.
They're going to have one of those.
Great.
They're going to have a free-to-play game, and they're going to be on the pregame shows, radio, TV, that sort of thing. Last but not least, we've actually been talking about these guys for a couple of weeks now. The Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company.
Sure.
They just did a deal with the eSports Entertainment Group, another company
Great,
we've been talking about.
Who did I interview at?
Grant Johnson.
Grant Johnson, yeah, really great guy.
EEG will now be the official eSports provider for the Hall of Fame Village and will also operate the Helix eSports Entertainment Center at the Village.
Great.
That's it right now. Also one quick little thing. I thought this was interesting. We've got another new sportsbook launching in the United States.
Okay.
Bet Rushmore.
I've never heard of that.
Brand new local sports betting company.
When you say local,
they're only operating in the Dakotas.
Oh, Dakotas. Okay.
Mount Rushmore.
Okay, got it.
Bet Rushmore. They are going to be launching. They also hired a couple different acquisition companies to help get customers in the area, and they'll be making their debut in a couple different states, but they are going to be launching first in Iowa.
Okay.
But they're headquartered in Dakota,
All
South
right.
Dakota, which is where they get their name, Bet Rushmore.
Okay.
That's it for this week's Turnpike Sports Book Report. If you have any news or notes, feel free to reach out to us, info@turnpikesportsradio.com. And whatever stories we did not cover, there's a whole bunch more we did not cover in this episode. Head on over to turnpikesportsradio.com, click on the blog button. You'll see the book report in print version about an hour or so after the book report is released podcast-wise.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.